It's time to meet Clifton.
With your host, Ray Grabowski.
Here's Ray.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Meet Clifton. Tonight we're going to have a special show showing all our pets that we've had on in the past, different pet owners, different things about pets, because we know that we have a lot of pet owners. I myself am a pet advocate, so we're going to show you the past episodes of the pets that we had on. So I think you're going to enjoy this, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
On today's show, we'll revisit some of our furry, scaly, and also loyal friends. Sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Meet Clifton.
You know, often we tend to think about the welfare of ourselves and our fellow man when hard times fall. But what about the animals that share our community? Our next guests are some of the people that take care of our little furry friends. I'd like to welcome to the show Amy Kozel, President, and Trish Malone, Vice President of Angels of Animals and Kittens.
Hi, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
And they brought along some of their furry friends, cats. I don't know their names. I know George has one here.
His name is George, too.
This one's George?
Yes. This is George the kitten.
We have a George.
And I have Bootsy and Snickers.
Snickers.
Okay, so I'm sure they're happy. We have a few more down here.
We have you.
So, Amy, tell us about the Angels, of Animals organization.
We are a 501c rescue group that takes in unwanted, abused, neglected animals. We do not have a shelter facility, so we take these animals into our homes until they find their permanent homes. We do tend to focus on special needs, the ones that end up in the shelters that nobody really wants because there's something wrong with them. This is Nub. He's a perfect example. He's 2.5 weeks old. Unfortunately, he's got deformities of his legs. They're not working properly. He's already been to see a neurologist and an ortho doctor, but he's a little bit too young. But these are the kind of cases that we thrive on. We like to take the challenges.
Okay. So are all of these technically special needs cats?
No,
or?
He's the only one.
Okay. So you rescue these cats. Now, this is not affiliated with the city or anything. This is a special organization.
We
Yes.
are an independent 501c3 rescue.
Okay. And how can people reach you if they have kittens? We'll post that at the end of the show. It's just that, a lot of people, there's a lot of cats in town and they have litter and...
We do ask a few things. We ask, number one, that people go through their municipal resources before reaching out to us. Again, as an organization with a focus on special needs, one of the things that we do is we will search shelters throughout New Jersey looking for animals like Nub and his litter. We took them from a shelter in South Jersey about 2 weeks ago because they did not have a chance and the shelter did not have the resources to save them. So although, yes, we absolutely rescue animals from the street, we do ask in any municipality that we work in, that people try to go through the municipal resources first before resorting to private rescue groups like
Okay,
us.
so now you rescue the cats. What happens? They're up for adoption or...
Well, there are a few things that happen first. Number one, we're going to do a medical intake, and they're going to see a veterinarian at least a couple of times before they're adopted out. They're going to receive all of their vaccinations. You look very comfortable, right?
Very comfortable.
They're going to receive their vaccines. If they are old enough, they will also receive their spay-neuter surgery before adoption. If not, our contract does stipulate that your cat or kitten that you've adopted from us will have to be spayed or neutered, and we do follow up on that.
That's a good Mother's Day present, right?
Your mother would love a little George.
So we have a lot of viewers today. How could they find out more about your organization?
Well, we're very active on Facebook, and we definitely ask everybody to follow us on Facebook at Angels of Animals Inc. You can also visit our website at angelsofAnimals.org, or you can come see us on Friday nights. We're at the Clifton Petco, generally from 7 to 9 p.m., and you can meet our volunteers and meet some of our animals that are available for adoption.
Okay, and how about volunteering? Because a lot of people like to volunteer for organizations. Do you accept volunteers?
We love volunteers.
Absolutely.
Our greatest need is for volunteer foster homes. Families who are willing to take an animal into their home. George,
Sorry.
maybe we can talk
Sorry,
you
we
into it.
cannot.
Fostering is a really fun and easy thing.
I
It's
got two
also
dogs. I can't take them.
Dogs and cats, they live together. It's not a problem.
Not with my two.
it's a really great family activity, and we do have a lot of families and kids involved. You foster the animal, we take care of the medical care, we provide the food, the
really?
litter, the supplies. All you provide is a safe home and love until they are adopted, and it's super fun. We also look for volunteers to help us out with fundraising. We have bake sales on a regular basis.
Yes, I was going to ask you, how do you raise money for this? Because this is a nonprofit.
Absolutely, we don't receive
But
any.
it does cost money.
It sure
A lot.
does cost money, and we don't receive any state or municipal funding. So we receive some grant money, and we are always identifying grants where we can, do some good in the community with grant money. But most of our income comes from donors, regular people who attend our events. Whether it's our Tricky Tray, which is coming up on October 19th at the Bethwood, and information is available on angelsofanimals.org. We hope to see the community supporting us at an event like that.
And we'll post that
Most-
underneath the screen so you can see
Most
that.
appreciated. Donations that come in the mail, donations that we receive at events, and of course our fundraising events like our bake sales, our annual holiday bazaar, and our kitten shower and Tricky Tray, which are our two biggest fundraisers of the year.
Well, that's great that you care so much. And a viewer question is, what's the most unusual place you've been to rescue an animal?
That's a loaded question.
We've been a lot of places. We certainly don't trespass, but I have seen Amy with permission. She's, I do the fundraising and Amy does the dangerous and dirty stuff, so I've seen her come out of crawl spaces with spiders in her hair more times than I can count. She's pretty fearless. She fell off a roof once here in Clifton.
Only once, never again?
Oh, yes, you only have to fall off a roof once. But we'll pretty much go anywhere, whether it's a swamp or a backyard full of tires or underneath the world's scariest
I love
crawl
it
space.
when people say to me, well, the kittens are under there, but there's no way you're going to fit under there. I'm like, oh, really?
She fits.
I shall fit.
That's
It's
good
fun.
to know.
It's fun.
I think, it's a worthy cause. We're going to post a little website thing here, whatever you have at the end of the number to get in touch. And if anybody has any more questions, they can certainly contact us here at the station or contact them. There's certainly a lot of cats out there that need rescuing, and I know you're the people that are going to do it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Hopefully we could show these cats a little bit.
They all need a home. They're all up for adoption.
Okay, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Come on, baby, don't you know what I mean? Hey, hey, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago? So come on.
Tonight we have with us Melissa Allman, Senior Specialist, Advocacy and Government Relations for the Seeing Eye. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I have a couple questions I want to start out with, and that's, can you tell our viewers about the Seeing Eye mission?
Yes, I'd love to do that. The Seeing Eye mission is very important to me in particular, and other people who work with Seeing Eye dogs. We are about fostering and enhancing independence and dignity and self-confidence for people who are blind or have low vision, so that we can navigate our world and go about our daily lives as confidently as possible and independently as possible. That is what our mission is, and in order to do that, we train dogs to work with people who are blind all over North America, and we, of course, breed our own puppies in our breeding center, and we also have follow-up instruction for people if they need any support after they leave the Seeing Eye, after their 25-day training here. So we do a number of things, and it's all in support of that mission.
Okay, now moving forward, because I'm reading my questions, and I asked you before the show, you have it listed as a guide dog team. I'm assuming I didn't know that. I thought, you walk around with 5, 6 people, but the person and the dog are considered a team. So
Yes.
Can you explain that just a little bit?
Absolutely. The handler and the dog are a team. Luna and I are partners. We are together 24/7. She guides me so that I safely get places, and I take care of her. I make sure that she's fed, that she has what she needs, that she's loved, and that she has the praise and positive reinforcement that she needs in order to feel like she is doing a good job. That is extremely important in the team. My job is to trust her, to trust her that she's going to get me where I need to go safely with the direction that I provide her. Because I have to provide the direction, and she avoids the obstacles and gets us across streets safely.
Okay, and just to clarify this, because there's a lot of terms, service dog, guide dog. Just explain maybe the differences here, because so people at home would understand.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So think of it as an umbrella. Okay, so a service dog is a dog that is individually trained to perform a task for a person with a disability. That can mean a lot of things. It could mean alerting someone that's about to have a seizure, retrieving objects for someone whose disability prevents them from doing that. In my case, it means guiding me. I'm blind, I cannot see, and so Luna's job is to guide me safely. And a guide dog, therefore, is a service dog. A seeing eye dog is a dog that is scientifically and specially bred by the seeing eye, trained by the seeing eye. It's one of our dogs. The seeing eye is a trademark. So we are the oldest guide dog school, and we are the only guide dog school that can call our dog seeing eye dogs in the United States.
Okay, great. Now, if I just on personal note, before you had Luna, how do you go about getting a dog? If this is something you need in your life, how did you go about, is matching? How does this work?
Well, that's a really good question. I had to know enough about how to travel independently before getting Luna so that I could be eligible to receive a seeing eye dog. Obviously, you have to have a low enough visual acuity to be able to be eligible to have a seeing eye dog and to be able to successfully work with and trust the dog. So I had to submit an application to the seeing eye. They reviewed the application, determined that I was a good candidate for a seeing eye dog. They came to interview me, and that was part of the process of them making that determination. They wanted to see where I lived, what my environment was like, because it's very important to match a dog with the right person, the right dog with the right person. Yes. I spent 25 days at the seeing eye learning how to work with Luna. And the seeing eye flew me from Chicago to Morristown at their expense and back. I lived in Chicago when I got Luna, so I needed a dog that could deal with a lot of loud noises and busy traffic and hustle and a lot of people around. Some dogs are not suited to that, and some people aren't suited to that. So there's a lot that goes into the match. It's part science, part magic, a lot of moving parts.
Okay, and another question I have too, because if you're walking down the street or something, and people, especially little kids, and they see you with the dog, does that present a problem? What should they know about this when they encounter a guide dog team?
You've asked a really, really important question. Luna and I are a team. We're together 24/7. It's her job to guide me safely, following my directions about where to go, because I have to know where to go and she has to guide me. And I trust her, and she trusts me to be in charge. The problem is when people interfere with that team and that work that we do together to get around safely, it puts us in danger. So one of the things that I think is very important for the residents of Clifton to know, and everyone to understand, is that if you see a person working with their seeing eye dog or their guide dog, maybe it's from another school, whatever the situation may be, just ignore the dog. Focus on the person. Luna is very cute, and she likes the fact that this is a little bit about her, right? And she would like it to have that attention, but it's very important to just see the person, ignore the dog, do not pet a dog while they are working with their handler, because it could put the handler in danger. If somebody calls to or talks to or tries to get Luna's attention while we're about to cross the street, I could not get across the street safely. Or if we're walking down the sidewalk and someone is distracting her, I could fall off the curb or run into something. So it's not because we want to be difficult or we don't want people to meet our dogs just for the sake of it. It's all about the safety of the team. So when that harness is on, when this harness that Luna is wearing is on, she is on duty. If the harness is off, then she's a regular dog, but it's still very important to ask the handler's permission.
Okay, because that's a good question, because I see that all the time on the streets, and I hope people are paying attention to this.
I love it when I hear kids, because there's a lot of education about this in schools now, and I walk down a street and I hear a child say, "Mommy, that's a service doggy, don't touch that doggy." And I think that's fantastic. Another thing is please keep your pet dogs away from a guide dog team. It's very important because our dogs can be distracted by other dogs, and as much as you love your pets, there are times when you don't know how they're going to react. You don't know how they're going to behave. So that can sometimes result in encounters that are very unpleasant and could damage the working life of the team. So I would encourage you, if our dogs are working, they're not here to play, please keep yours away, is what I sort of like to tell people.
Okay, and that's great, perfect information. And now just back to the organization itself. How are our viewers, can they help the Seeing Eye?
Well, there are a number of ways that you can help the Seeing Eye. Educating the public about some of the things, other people around you, that I just told you is very, very important. Spreading this information is important. You can help the Seeing Eye by volunteering. We're always looking for volunteers. We have a lot that goes on at our campus. We have 20 to 24 students in a class at a time. We have 160 employees. It's a very big operation. So volunteers are helpful. You can apply to raise a puppy. We have 250 dogs at the Seeing Eye at the Washington Valley campus at any time. And obviously we have a lot of litters of puppies being born, and we need people to raise them to be good canine citizens and to have good house manners so that they can then be successful as Seeing Eye dogs, or that's part of what helps them be successful. And I will say that the reason I am here is because of people like you. I was at the Seeing Eye for 25 days. I was flown to Chicago and back when it was time for me to go home. I got instruction every day that was provided by very qualified and patient people. I got my very, very special girl here, Luna, and I got this harness that she's wearing, equipment, all of that for a tuition of only $150. It would not be possible without what we get in support from people like you, from foundations, from corporations. We don't get any government funding. So it's a gift. Luna's a gift, the Seeing Eye is a gift, and that's what you all can do to help us.
Okay, well, Melissa, and I'd like to thank you for coming on and sharing this. So Luna, I'd like to thank you too. I don't think she's looking at me, but it's
That's okay.
but thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the dog too.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. My next two guests are very interesting. Actually, the pets they brought with them are very interesting too. But let me first introduce Christine Zelenka and Mr. Zelenka. How are you? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tonight's topic is educator of animals. We'll get to them in a few minutes. But first, maybe just explain, educator of animals. Where are we going with this? You go different places, or we talk about animals?
Well, I started as a teacher in a high school in Clifton.
Oh, I forgot to tell. Mrs. Zelenka was everyone's high school teacher. Okay.
And I had a very interesting schedule, working at the high school in the morning, doing an educational program in the afternoon for the youngsters. And then people would ask me if you'd like to do a program outside for a school or another district, and I said, okay, in my spare time. And of course it was great because I was working with the youngsters and I was working with the animals, and you can educate the kids about how to care for them and what to do and not to do. And it just one thing led to another. And of course later on I have a beautiful daughter and 2 boys, and my one boy took over, and then my daughter's taking over now. She's doing a fantastic job. She gets all over doing the same type of show.
So you book different places, schools, and I keep thinking of that alligator wrestler guy when I'm doing this interview. Yeah, you have it's a program. You go to different schools, or
Yeah, we work at museums, environmental education programs, at camps, and Boy Scout groups, Girl Scouts. All sorts of different locations we travel to. So even private homes for birthday parties and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a big production.
Yes.
And we're gonna get the animals in a minute because I don't know if I'm nervous or scared.
You're nervous.
I hope they don't bite me. I think, oh no,
He's right under you.
like a snake is under my leg here.
Right under you.
I disappear. So is this a career choice? I know you were a teacher? You got involved because it's your dad.
I'm also a teacher too.
Oh.
He was actually my AP biology teacher in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and now I teach biology too in high school, and I just started doing the program years ago, and I love it just as much.
So now this whole thing, what I guess my question is primary mission. What are you really out to accomplish when you go to these places?
Kind of educate the general public. Now we've traveled fairly extensively in Africa and Madagascar, and she's been to
every continent.
Every continent. She beat me on that one. And I've been to Alaska. She hasn't been to Alaska yet. Photographing, we do a lot of photographing and video of animals, and we present that to the groups, show them photographs, and use that as a jumping off point for talking about endangered species and rescue animals and what to do and what not to do. And it's just great. I love the feedback. We have a great young audience, or any audience, just terrific.
Pets are interesting. George wanted a kangaroo. I told him we couldn't fit it in here, so.
I wanted a baby one.
Yeah, no, it's not we just go pick up a baby kangaroo.
Oh, I figured they had a mommy, and
okay,
I'll
so
take the little
my daughter would like a wallaby, but right now we're not set up for a wallaby.
So which
Who's
animal
gonna be
do we
first?
want to present first?
Well, if you're talking about maybe more common animals that youngsters would, we have, maybe Chris would like to take that one out.
I'm not nervous.
Yes, you are.
I'm just
But just so everyone knows in the audience out there that we're dealing with the animals, but they're not living in these boxes.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have appropriate cages. And
of course.
This is just a great way to take them, transport them.
She got more hair than I got.
Want to hold him?
Oh, it's cute.
Don't get him too close.
Yeah.
He's afraid.
And normally we tell the youngsters, we say, like if you're in the woods and you see maybe a fox and you want to call him, you go like this, shh. And that's the sound a rabbit would make if it's injured.
Oh, really?
And of course, to a fox or a coyote, that means the dinner bell, bunny burgers. So that's the way I call them to photograph them. And we both do a lot of photography. We've been to Africa together, and I've photographed the brown bear and the grizzly bear in Alaska.
Really?
Oh, it's great.
Well, this is not a normal rabbit. It's not indigenous to New Jersey,
This
right?
is not a cottontail rabbit from Jersey. This is actually it's a hybrid, but primarily you see the lion mane English rabbit. It's a beautiful rabbit,
Simba.
It's kind of humid, very fuzzy hair day,
Yeah, and this is obviously your pet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, they all are really, but.
And we don't have any wild animals, so to speak. In other words, you can't go.
Well, I know that leather box looks pretty
you
big.
can't go a rabbit and bring a rabbit
Get the
home.
one between your legs.
Okay, where are we going next?
Well, even as the audience sees this tonight, you have to realize that almost every animal here is a permitted animal.
Right.
You have to, this one is a rather pretty iguana. I love the color of that one. It's a little bit, shall we say, hyper, if you want to use that word, because it was in a cage. It's very warm. Probably should have shut the heat off, but we took it out of the cage about an hour ago, and it's really very robust. It's been eating quite well. Variety of vegetables and.
Does he change colors?
Greens.
No.
No. Okay.
Where do we find the iguana?
All the way from Central America down to South America. They are now an invasive species in Florida, but green iguanas tend to be orange, green, darker colors, all different variations.
And you don't have to wear special gloves. I mean, those
I get used to it.
fingernails are.
She clipped them this
He
morning.
needs a manicure.
Wow. And they're not dangerous, obviously.
No.
Well,
Now that you say it.
they can be a little hyper, and of course you have to watch the tail. That's why my daughter and I always tuck the tail under
Yeah,
the
'cause
arm
that-
because they can give you a slap with
And I
the
guess
tail.
after hundreds of years of being exploited in the movies as dinosaurs,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
they got a bad name.
Right. And of course,
What's the
as my
life
daughter said,
expectancy?
being invasive of Florida, they're all over down there. And
Yeah.
They can live up
Causing
to
a lot of
about up in the 10s, the teens.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
How old is this little boy?
This is a rescued, so we
Right.
have. She,
You really don't know.
But we don't know.
yeah, not exactly sure of the age. Rough, very
Yeah,
rough
really?
skin.
Right,
Yeah.
it is.
And the snakes are real soft.
Well, it's
With
very
their skin.
pretty. I mean, this is a
Oh, I
kind
love
of
the
orange
color.
in color.
Wow, that's a nice one.
Most of the ones you see
wanna
are the
hold
green
for
with
a
the
minute?
big
I want to.
you know.
I'm interested in the one that's underneath my feet, or whatever comes next.
There we go.
Okay, that was.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now,
Perfect.
I'm talking about Central America and South America. In line with that,
He ain't holding this one. I know he won't. I had one
maybe you
as a
get that one
pet,
for me.
a boa constrictor.
I grew up with fish.
Fish.
Oh, this is a big one.
And this
This
is
is
the boa.
bigger than the one I had.
Whoa.
Okay, right, hold this fist.
Just so I know, they don't bite, right?
Yeah, they
Well,
do.
they mean they can.
They can, right? But this one
I'll
probably.
keep the head over here.
Yeah,
But
move
this
back
is-
a little bit, right?
I mean, it's a common one. There are other ones, boas, that are different type of boa. This is a common boa. They're red-tailed boas, which are prettier, and they're more tree boas. And
Can a boa, can it be domesticated or no? In a sense of, it knows its owner and things like that? Or-
well, of the bigger snakes,
Right.
including the pythons and boas, generally the boa is a calmer snake, where some of the bigger ones, the anacondas, have a tendency to be a little bit nippy, and reticulated python, which gets to be well over 20 feet, if it gets nippy, it may nip and not let go. So
How big is this one?
that's about 6 feet.
Yeah,
plus.
about 7 feet,
You know,
6,
And what do
7
we
feet.
feed them?
Well, these have to eat, we
Guinea
feed
pigs,
them
or-
no dead rodents. We
Okay.
actually, we buy them frozen
Oh,
and defrost them.
because I had one
a
for as
separate
a pet.
microwave,
We,
you know.
we used to get them little mice.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
a snake like this could eat
Well, yeah, well, he probably eat
five or
dozen
six,
mice.
Mice, yeah,
five
yeah.
or six rats in a row without a problem.
Hi.
Wow.
But
Ray,
they
you want to
digest-
hold them?
No,
Just
they
feel them
digest
now.
I'm
very-
fine.
Want the tail end?
I'm good.
Really? See?
Right.
I'm okay,
I mean, obviously, if you were just handling the rabbit or a mouse or a
He
guinea
might
pig, it is occasional that the
Yeah,
snake would,
maybe.
and they're sticking its tongue out. So if you talk to it, I've seen people say, "Oh, what a pretty snake! I hope it hears me." It can't hear, obviously, the vibrations, of course,
can
but it has a
smell.
tongue for smell.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty
Its
interesting.
tongue is sticking
Hi.
out, smelling with the tongue.
Want
Softer
to say
than
hi to Ray?
No, that's
Say
okay.
hi, Ray.
George is sticking his tongue out at you, so what does that say?
Nothing. He loves me. Hi.
Wow.
Just don't expect an answer.
No.
Anytime soon.
I don't get too many answers anyway.
And what happens, they do get larger, and of course some
Yeah.
of the big snakes, once you get 10, 12, 14 feet long, when they bite, they may not let go. And of course,
They have a lot of
oh, yeah,
power in there.
a lot of grip. People
Yes.
don't realize how much of a
Yes.
grip it has.
Okay.
He's like,
In other words,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay, that
Say I'm
one's-
back in.
And again, we don't keep these in suitcases,
That's pretty interesting close up,
but to be honest with you, it's a very good way of carrying because it's a wood top. We have air holes in the
Yeah,
front.
no, it's great.
And in the wintertime, we can put heat packs in the bottom.
I could have back it up.
Obviously, it keeps them cooler, carrying from one place to the other. It's darker,
Yeah,
so
it's a good way to
animals.
transport.
Well, animals are sometimes a little bit
Yeah.
with the light. So if it's a very bright light or people moving around, so it's a much better way of carrying it.
Okay. I forgot what's in this box.
Well, in this one, a lot of people like this.
Ray.
This is a
Oh, a hedgehog.
dwarf hedgehog. Very cute. Most people say, "Oh, that's a cute little porcupine." It's not a porcupine. It's not related to a
Well, there's his
porcupine.
legs, Ray.
Where a porcupine
Coming out,
is a
yeah.
rodent.
He's coming out to see you.
Now, if you were handling this, if it were a porcupine, you'd probably be going to St.
done,
Joe's
yeah.
Hospital
Yeah.
or St. Mary's
Well,
Hospital.
this one
or whatever.
doesn't shoot
No,
anything.
no.
the porcupines don't do that either.
No,
That's
even
a common
porcupine
misconception.
doesn't
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
a
yeah.
porcupine may shake its tail, and maybe a quill would come out, but it's the slapping of the porcupine
Oh, okay.
against you. So, and we do have quite a few porcupines in Jersey. Not often seen, but they're
Yeah, nice.
they're out there.
Pretty spiky.
It's
Yeah.
a cute
Yeah.
little pet, but again, any pet that you have has to be respected as a living animal, and a lot of kids get them
Absolutely.
and they want to have one, and
He's
they'd
got
like
hair
to.
like you. Nice.
Yeah, it sticks
And then
in
after a
there.
while, their friends
Doesn't
have
bite
seen
you.
it,
They're messed up in the back.
and they get bored with it. So what
Yeah,
happens?
I know. It's
What happens to it?
the age old,
people-
they buy the hamster
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
leave it and then they forget about it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they dump them off wherever.
And they're
you know.
nocturnal as well, so
Yeah.
they
I mean-
you're awake and they're sleeping, and
Yeah.
you're sleeping, they're awake. It doesn't really.
I mean, obviously, you both love animals.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see
Right.
that probably more than people.
Well, that's what I tell people.
That's
like,
true.
It's probably better. So,
Well, they ask me what kind of a pet you should get, and I usually tell people, especially young folks, get yourself a pet rock.
yeah.
Saying it's funny,
No,
but,
but
it's true.
I
you
mean,
know.
we want to talk about recommending. So somebody at home said, gee, what would you, how do you recommend a pet to someone? Or
Very difficult.
Or do you recommend pets to everyone? Or,
It
I
depends
guess
on
it's
the
kind of
person.
hard
It depends
because,
on the age. Usually, if there's a young fellow like the gentleman over there, they take care of it for a couple of days, and then mom usually has it for the next X number of years, you know. And I always recommend, go to the zoo or museum if they're really interested to get a little pet, but you have to choose the pet wisely, not because, Mommy, I want one, because they're cute.
Yeah, there's different requirements. Like the
Right.
iguanas, they're small, and then they get bigger and bigger, and they need certain light and humidity and temperatures. And again, these guys are cool when they're in the pet shop walking around, and then they're sleeping when you're.
that's the problem.
When you're awake,
Right,
and then
exactly.
at night they're spinning around the wheel.
Yeah.
So cats and dogs, the typical things, are much easier to take care of, easier to find a vet. It's more difficult to find exotic vets and things. So,
That's really good.
yeah.
I mean, it's a cute little pet.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to sound funny, it's boring. I mean, that doesn't do much.
Yeah.
It'll do this, you can play with it, and
Well,
that's it.
or if you just want to teach some responsibility.
Yeah, and
Exactly, yeah.
To a
being
kid, yeah.
nocturnal, it buries
He's,
itself
that's
under
thing,
whatever.
make sure he's fed, make sure you
Right.
clean the cage.
Right.
Touches.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm good.
It's cute, though.
Yeah,
Cute little face,
yeah. It's okay, Joe. We're going to get you one for your birthday. No, I mean, I appreciate you coming on
Right,
the
yeah.
show. Sean, I know we could probably talk about animals, and there's
course.
probably thousands of different things you could bring on. Next time, maybe
Definitely, yeah.
spiders and things.
Oh, we have a variety of chameleons and spiders.
Yeah,
and
we just want to
giant
give the
toads
people at
and
home a little thing
frogs
about
and-
it, especially what you
Exactly.
do, because everyone watching the show probably knows who you are. So.
Well, there was just a thing on TV the other day where someone had been bitten by a copperhead. And
Yeah.
I went to identify it. My daughter and I were there, and
Oh, really?
people think, oh, it's a snake, I'll pick it up. And I tell people the best thing to do is look at it and walk away.
Yeah,
really,
don't-
just walk
don't
away.
get involved.
More people are bitten, it seems, by people poking it
Playing
and trying to
with
it. Yeah.
move it or something, and then
Yeah, just leave it be.
leave it alone. Take a look. They're beautiful creatures, and
Well, I thank you both for
Well,
coming on
thank
the
you
show.
very
much.
It's actually
Thank
maybe
you.
after
Thank you.
the show I'll
sure.
Thank
try
you.
my luck
Snake
with one
around
of
your leg
these.
or something
Okay.
like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
All you want to do is just to ride around Sally. Ride, Sally, ride. All you want to do is just to ride around Sally. Ride, Sally, ride. I say all you want to do is ride around Sally. Ride, Sally, ride. Come on. Now all you want to do is just to ride around Sally. Ride, Sally, ride. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's our show for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of people in our town have a lot of pets, and we deal with a lot of animals, so I hope you enjoyed the show. In the meantime, take care of your friends and family, respect your neighbors, keep Clifton close to your heart. This is a great city. Thank you. God bless. Good night.